As we talk about feedlot horses and how to select feedlot horses and take care of them, the question always comes up is, well, should the feedlot own the horse or should the pin riders own these horses? And in visiting with feedlot owners and pin riders and feedlot managers, and our committee's kind of come up with 5 different advantages if the feedlot owns them and 5 advantages if the pin rider or the feedlot cowboy owns them. And I'm going to talk about each one of those 5 different things. The first thing is if the feedlot owns these horses that you use in the feedlot, number one, they're going to be more consistent, they're going to be solider, they're going to be more dependable. It's kind of like after you work the feedlot for 3 years or 4 years or 10 years or 15 years, some of these horses may be with the feedlot 5 or 10 years, and they're probably going to be a little more dependable, a little more consistent, and a little more reliable because they know what to do, and they're not having to be retrained and see new things and new sights and new sounds every day that they come to the feedlot. The second thing is probably your pin riders will probably do a better job of taking care of the cattle, of checking the cattle, if they're riding a solid, quiet, dependable horse that the feedlot has. These pin riders were hired to ride the pins, to move cattle, to check on cattle, and if they're out there training new horses or training young horses, many times they're probably not going to do as good a job and do the job they were hired to do, which was check the cattle, look for sick cattle, move cattle. If they're on a new horse that they're trying to train or trying to break or trying to just get a little more solid and more consistent. That's why that's number 2 is the feedlot. If the feedlot owns those horses, they may be a little more dependable, and the cowboy is going to have a chance to do a little more work of what he was hired to do. Number 3 is if they're solid, quiet, dependable, consistent horses that have been around for a number of years, you're probably going to have less accidents. There's going to be less medical costs to the feedlot. There's going to be less downtime or sick time. If you're riding a solid, consistent horse when you're checking these fences, checking the pins, than if you're riding a young horse or an unbroke horse or a horse that's just not very solid and consistent. There'll be less medical expenses to the riders, and that's going to help the feedlot. The other thing is if you're riding a solid, consistent horse, you'll probably get along better, and you're going to have less injuries to the cattle, to the livestock. There'll be less running, less pushing them into fences, and you're just going to do a lot smoother job, and they'll have a lot better performance if you're riding a solid, consistent horse that's probably been around a lot in the feedlot for a number of years. As we get number 4 reason why the feedlot should own the horses and provide all the horses for the pin riders is sometimes there's pin riders or feedlot cowboys that just don't have access to a good horse. They've maybe just moved to the country. They may just have been working at one feedlot, now they moved to another feedlot. They may be living on the feedlot, and so they really don't have the financial means, or they don't have the ways to find a good, solid, gentle horse for them to ride as they check the cattle and do their work at the feedlot. And kind of the 5th thing is we talked about insurance companies, and we asked them, are you more liable, are the feedlots more liable if they own the horse or if the cowboys own the horse? And they're saying really there's no difference. If accidents occur while the rider is riding in the arena, the feedlot is liable and must pay for insurance and medical and liability problems, whether the horse is owned by the feedlot or whether the horse is owned by the cowboy. So those are the main 5 reasons why it may be very advantageous for the feedlot to own those horses, is because they're solid, they're consistent. The pin riders probably have a better chance of doing what they're hired to do than if they're training their own horse. There's less injuries to the horses, there's less injuries to the people, there's less injuries to the cattle if they're a solid, quiet, consistent horse that's been there at the feedlot for 3, 5, or 10 years. And some employees also just don't have access to the horse to get it to have a horse to ride if they're living in town or on the feedlot or not able to find a horse. The 5 reasons why it might be a good idea for the feedlot riders or the pin riders to own their own horse is, one reason is, number 1, probably is there's less investment to the feedlot. If you're saying a good, solid, consistent horse is worth $2,000 and the feedlot may have 10 horses, that's $20,000 that if the pen riders own their horses, the feedlot doesn't have that investment. It's kind of like having a pickup truck, a $20,000 pickup truck that you don't have to invest in if the feedlot does not have to buy those horses and allows the feedlot cowboys and the pen riders to own their own horses. The second reason why it may be good to have the pen riders or the feedlot cowboys own their horse is because they may take better care of their horses. If a horse gets tired, if a horse gets a little lame, they may switch off or switch horses back and forth so they don't abuse the horses. They may keep a little bit closer eye on whether the horse is in good condition, whether their feet are in good condition, whether they're getting too thin, whether they're a little lame, or whether you just abused them. If the feedlot cowboys own their own horses, they may take better care of the horses and have happier, healthier horses. The third reason I think it might be good for the feedlot cowboys to own their own horses is many times they can earn some supplemental income if they're taking in outside horses to ride. If a feedlot cowboy may not be the highest salaried rider there or the highest salaried person at the feedlot, they may be able to take in some outside horses, some young horses, some green broke horses. Then they can spend some time and they will earn some supplemental income riding these horses, getting these horses seasoned and solid and consistent working around cattle. That can do two things. If the feedlot employee is earning a little bit of supplemental income, they may be willing to work for that feedlot for a little bit less money. If another feedlot says we'll give you another $1 per hour, but you can come to our feedlot but don't bring any horses, that feedlot cowboy or the pen rider may stay with their current feedlot a little longer if he can bring in a little supplemental money, a little supplemental income by riding horses, by bringing either his own horses or bringing outside horses that he can train as he does that. Okay, reason number 4 why it might be good for the pen riders or the feedlot cowboys to own their own horses or bring in outside horses is because many times the feedlot owners or managers are really good at buying cattle, selling cattle, balancing rations, keeping the animals healthy, developing a good health program, but they may not be familiar with where to find good horses, how to determine a good horse from a poor horse. And many of these good feedlot riders or horsemen are good judges of horses, and so they may have more access, more outlets to find horses, more places where they can go out. They may be more acquainted with horse people and horse breeders and horse producers in their area, and they may be able to find better horses than the feedlot owner or the feedlot manager. And if they purchase the horses, they'll probably be a little bit happier with them, and they can't blame the feedlot manager for buying them bad horses. And probably if the third reason or the fifth reason is if the feedlot cowboys own their horses or if they bring in outside horses, many times these horses can be rotated back and forth. If a cowboy rides a horse for 2 or 3 weeks and the horse gets a little sore, gets a little lame, they may take him back to their place and bring another horse back or bring in another outside horse, and the feedlot doesn't have to feed horses that are thin to bring them back in condition. They don't have to feed sick horses. They don't have to feed lame horses. And so if the feedlot cowboy owns his own horse and a horse gets a little tender, a little sore, a little tired, a little thin, he can take him home and he may either bring another one of his horses back and use it and take the lame or the sore or the thin horse home. A lot of times a feedlot will still say, if you're going to bring in outside horses, we require those horses to be ridden at least 30 to 60 days before they come to the feedlot. That way these cowboys are spending more time checking the cattle and not as much time getting those green horses broke on the feedlot's time. So these are 5 reasons why it might be good for the feedlot to own their own horses and provide them for the pen riders, and another 5 reasons why it might be a good idea for the pen riders or the feedlot cowboys to own their own horses, bring their own horses, or find outside horses for them to ride.